Today we are going to learn how to use the new silicone products brought to you by Tropical Roofing Products. This is going to be our 900 series. What we have here is epoxy A and epoxy B. We're going to take these products. First we need to mix them individually, then we're going to mix them together. Let us begin. With a mixing wand, just a standard stir stick. We got a nice consistency going here, as you can see. Now we're going to mix part B, as you see here through the label. I need one more stir stick. You can see how it's got separation in it, which is normal. Don't be scared. Got a nice consistency going, as you can see. Good color, no discoloration, no separation. Everything is blending perfectly. Cans mixed up. Keep in mind, if you are using a larger container, such as a 5-gallon pail, a stir stick's not going to work for you. You want to use a drill. You want to make sure that you're using a clean wand that is not contaminated, has no rust on it, no dirt, no acrylic elastomeric, because that may pour the moisture out and cause a problem. By pouring out the part A into the pail, we've already mixed it individually, and now we're going to blend them together. Now we will bring over the part B. On the roof situation. You want to mix this up for a minute or two. We got it nice and mixed up. You can see it. Good consistency, good color. By applying the primer, we will start with the seams and work the seam first so we can allow that to cure the fastest before we apply our seam sealer. Keep in mind, all asphaltic based roofs must have the primer put down. That we use it within 2 to 4 hours of that mixture so that it doesn't set up and it's non-usable. Get it over the top. Good. We're going to continue on and prime the entire cap sheet surface. You want to make sure it's even. And you encapsulate the entire granule. You want to make sure you back roll to get all sides of that granule as well. Don't just put it in one direction. A little touch up may be necessary to hit any potholes you may have missed. You always want to check it in 2 directions. First check it this direction, turn around, come back and look at it from a different direction on the opposite side so you can ensure that you got all granules. We've applied the primer down. We want to go back and inspect it to ensure that all the granules are encased. You can see we applied it evenly. It's in a curing state now. It can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending upon temperature and humidity. We're priming another penetration. Just happens to be a turbine as well, but it has an aluminum-based coating on top of it. We make sure that we prime it so that the adhesion of the epoxy silicone is going to bond to it properly. And we want to make sure we get all the nooks and crannies. Once we've got it all sealed, we'll allow it 2 to 4 hours to cure. Now we're going to go over a metal area. We have a transition of the roof to metal. We still need to prime it with the part A, part B that's been mixed together. Now we are going to create a seam sealer as well as a penetration sealer. What we have is we're using a silicone based product and we're going to add a microfiber to it. We've got our drill, 1/2-inch chuck, clean wand. Make sure that you're using a clean tool. Not something that has any residue on it or acrylics. It can affect the silicone. And it is good. We do need to keep our tools clean. So as we draw it out, we'll get any excess off of here. We're going to pour that into a 3-gallon container. You can use a 2-gallon, 3-gallon, not a problem. Now we're going to add in our microfibers. Be careful to do it slowly so that it doesn't just poof out on you and you lose any product. You can make a stiffer product by adding more microfibers to it, or we can back it off a little bit if we need a little bit thinner. If you don't have access to a drill and a wand, we can always use a stir stick. Seam sealer slash penetration sealer. We've got it at the consistency that we want it at. As you can tell, the fibers have blended very nicely. Now we're going to apply it onto our cap sheet. We've already primed it. It's cured out. We're going to begin. Apply it down. Make sure that seam is locked in very tight. We'll continue on down the whole run of the cap sheet at the seam. Remove any excess. Make sure that that gap is covered completely. We've applied the heavier portion with a putty knife / trowel. Now we're smoothing it over with a small 2-inch brush. What we have here is a transition area where we have three cap points meeting at one intersection. So we want to seal that up. First we're going to take silicone by itself without any of the microfibers in it. We're going to do a 3-course with this to ensure better adhesion, tensile strength. Now we're going to install the polyester into the wet silicone that we put down as our base coat. We take it down to the edge, lay it down, make sure it gets right in the center. Give it a little touch, just to press it in lightly. That way it doesn't move on you. We're going to take the silicone, go back over the top of it. We do need to hold the end down so that it does not rise up above and we get good attachment. We don't want any wrinkles or buckles. We want a consistent amount going down, even. Now you can notice that the polyester has been embedded completely. And we've got a nice tight seal along that seam. And remember, go tropical. Now we're going to continue with the silicone onto the cap sheet. The cap sheet has been primed. We've given it enough duration to cure properly. I'm going to pour this out to give us a little bit better production value. We're going to pour it out about 3 to 4 inches wide, all the way down through the cap sheet. And then we'll begin spreading it evenly throughout. We back roll to ensure that the granule gets silicone on every side. We have a prime deck that we allowed to cure between 2 and 4 hours. We put the primer down at approximately 1 gallon per square. Now we're going to put down the silicone at approximately 1.5 gallons per square using a roller to apply it. So we spread it out about 4 inches wide, evenly through the middle of the cap sheet, to ensure we get a thorough coat and we can work the product in. I'm not applying much pressure with the roller, just letting the roller do its thing. It's moving the material around. As you can see, I got 2 fingers on it. That's all it's going to take, very little pressure. You want to make sure that it's evenly applied throughout the entire cap sheet. You want to make sure that you back roll to ensure that you get all sides of the granules. But as you can see, I'm applying very little pressure. I'm pushing it with the palm of my hand, letting the roller do its own thing. Remember, go tropical. We've added our fibers to the product. We've got it at the viscosity where we want it. We're going to pack it around the penetration. Now we've applied it heavily enough, between 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch at the transition area where the metal is hitting the deck. We're going to smooth it out using a rubber edged trowel. Not pressing very hard. Now we get it nice and smooth all the way around the penetration. We're not removing any product, just using the pressure of the trowel. Now we're priming another penetration, just happens to be a turbine as well, but it has an aluminum-based coating on top of it. We make sure that we prime it so that the adhesion of the epoxy silicone is going to bond to it properly. Three-course method around a penetration. We need to put it on the base as well as on the flashing. Heavy enough. to encompass 3/4 of a polyester fabric coating of the mastic that we've taken with the silicone and our microfibers and created our own product to the consistency that we wanted. I've cut the polyester so we make a round transition. We're going to go ahead and tuck it on there. We want to go 2 inches up and 2 inches out. Brush it down. Push in the corners at the transition so we ensure that they stay in tight. We don't want those pulling away. And even. We no longer see the polyester, and we're finished sealing up the penetration. Once we've got the 3-coursing done, as you'll see, the penetration is sealed tight, nice and smooth. We'll apply silicone back over the top of it when we tie in the rest of the roof. We've got a sealed penetration that's going to last for years and years to come. And remember, go tropical.